An unrecorded intelligence network processes thousands of data points daily. It lives in taxi drivers navigating traffic, elders tracking seasons, and mothers monitoring neighborhood safety. But you won't find any of that on official records. Institutions quantify the nation from afar. They rely on top-down datasets, static census numbers, and external algorithms to build out a sterilized map of the country. When hyperlocal knowledge remains undocumented, it effectively vanishes. Government planners and international aid organizations make multi-million-dollar decisions based on that sterile map, completely blind to the actual territory on the ground. If a community does not record its own reality, outsiders will define it for them. That leads to well-funded interventions that collapse the moment they hit the complexities of real life. Look at the national water crisis. Official institutional reports detail prolonged droughts and outline broad policies aiming to expand rural rainwater harvesting capacity by 20%. Those macro-level documents miss the neighborhood mechanics. They do not know the exact locations of existing silted tanks. They miss the broken community pipes in Upper Clarendon, or that a natural river access point in St. Elizabeth has been quietly fenced off. Only people living within those specific zones know the real-time operational status of the containment tanks and exactly who benefits when water access is restricted. Channeling funds into massive infrastructure blueprints without this granular intelligence results in solar pumps installed at the wrong elevations and storage networks that fail to reach the homes that need them most. True climate resilience requires accurate local data. Top-down infrastructure planning will only succeed when it is guided directly by bottom-up observation. This is where KAPOK comes in. KAPOK stands for Keeping Acts of Public Observation Known. It is a decentralized platform of organized public participation designed entirely to bridge that data gap. This map breaks the nation down into a standardized 1 square kilometer grid across all 14 parishes, locking data to a hyperlocal zone. On the right, the platform deploys 26 targeted surveys, organized into 5 core systems spanning human conditions to future readiness. This breakdown illustrates exactly what these surveys measure on the ground. Instead of abstract categories, it asks direct questions about water access, power grid reliability, road conditions, and waste management. By standardizing these everyday observations through a consistent geographic grid, the system converts isolated neighborhood complaints into undeniable, confidence-weighted national intelligence. Traditional institutional mapping arrives with assumptions already in place. KAPOK operates on a framework of inquiry. It arrives in communities with questions rather than declarations. The entire system runs on voluntary community engagement. It asks residents to track who feels excluded from planning and what aid is visibly missing. This infographic highlights the platform's protective boundaries. Under stewardship and heritage, it specifically categorizes the preservation of sacred spaces and historic landmarks, ensuring that ancestral lands are defended against extractive outside observation. Recording reality is only half the equation. True data sovereignty requires a community to own and protect its local knowledge, just as fiercely as it maps it. Over time, this 1 square kilometer mapping effort generates something deeply valuable, a living, real-time archive that tracks both physical civic infrastructure and intangible cultural memory. With this integrated data in hand, local leaders can visually pinpoint high-need zones, track whether international aid is actually working, and demand highly targeted financial investments. By turning invisible, undocumented struggles into visible, quantifiable data, the platform equips local communities with the leverage they need to advocate for their own development. This banner marks the upcoming Jamaica Diaspora Conference 2026. To the international stakeholders and diaspora members gathering here, we recognize the drive to help build a stronger nation. But top-down funding alone is no longer enough. The next step is evolving that support into active, informed integration with the realities on the ground. The most effective partnerships will combine the massive external resources and technical expertise of the diaspora with the hyperlocal, verified intelligence provided by the community grid. As you can see from this graphic, the directive is clear: participate in the platform. Review the civic scores for the parishes you care about, and use this data to direct your own relief projects and investments. True national resilience cannot be imported. The future of Jamaica must be mapped, stewarded, and built collaboratively by the people who call it home.